What's up, YouTube? My name is Del. This is Del on Movies. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me some more. You know I like it when you guys spend some of your precious time with me. And if you notice today, we have a special guest in the building. Well, she's always in the building. This is my better half, my lovely and talented wife, Yolanda. So she's here because today we're going to talk about our top 10 romantic movies. Now, this is not your top 10, this is our top 10. These are the movies that we decided, we came up with a list together. We decided that these were the best movies for us as a couple over all these years. Because if you watch this on the day it's coming out, it'll be Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. We will be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. And I'm going to quickly show off the shirt that we have right here. And this is big for me because for years she wants me to dress alike with her sometime, and I'm not that kind of guy, but of course this is a special situation, so we definitely had to do that. So and I'm being a little rude. I'm going on and on already. Yolanda, go ahead and wave to the people.
Hello.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. First, well, before that, let's talk a little bit about how we came up with the list. So, really, she approached me with the idea, and this is big because she's not one to be on camera all the time like that. So she came to me and said, "Hey, let's do this list. Let's put together our top 10 romantic movies." I said, "Great." So we chopped it up a little bit, went back and forth on some things. We came up with 10 movies. We generally judge this not always on what the better movie is, but we try to factor in the romance factor. So sometimes some movies will be higher than others, or you might think are better than others, and even some movies I think are better than others that we have lower or higher. And we'll talk about them when we get there. So let's go ahead and get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So at number 10 for us is a movie we watched a lot together over the years. This is Grease. And just for my collector friends out there, you see it's got the little cool leather jacket on, probably pleather, but there it is. So yes, this is the DVD. This is the reason I don't have the Blu-ray. But Grease, you all know the story. I'm not really going to talk too much about the whole story. For us, it was John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and all those great songs, and then coming together at the end. Anything you want to say about Grease?
Just the connection of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and the love story between them it shows when it starts out how they met at the beach and everything. So I like that part. And then at the end, well, I don't want to give everything, but at the end, I like the way they ended up.
She's learning from me. She don't want to spoil a movie, even though it's over 40 years old.
Yes,
so,
true.
That's a good deal. And I'm not much into musicals, so it takes a lot for a musical to get up on a list for me. But Grease is one of my favorite musicals of all time. This one's not really musical, but it is musically influenced, and this is our number 9 choice. This is Drumline. Let's see if we can get some of the glare out of there. So Drumline, everyone might not be as familiar with. This is the movie that made Nick Cannon a star, for better or for worse. We know he's got a lot going on these days. But in this movie, he plays a kid getting ready or he's just starting college. He's a talented drummer. He joins the college band, and he's having all sorts of trouble. And he meets up with a young lady played by Zoe Saldana. And also in the background, the band is trying to win the national championship. So this is a movie that I didn't really want to see in the beginning. We went to the theater and saw it. I think we were in South Carolina the first time we ever saw this. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, we
were at a family member of hers. We were at their place, and we were there for like a week. And one night we went to movies. And I didn't really want to see it because I'm not into the band stuff. She was always into band. So she was like, "Hey, I want to go see this movie." We went, and I actually really enjoyed the movie. I don't know how many times we watched Drumline over
Too many times. A lot of times.
Yeah, we probably watched Drumline at least 20 times between the two of us. And sometimes, she's probably seen it more than I have because she'll watch it sometimes on her own. Anything you want to add about Drumline?
Well, like you said, I love this Drumline because I was in the band myself in college. And I just like the way with him, how talented he was, and then how he met this young lady, and just the things that they went through and he went through being part of this band, and then at the end, they, was able to work it out, became friends and worked, take and worked it out and able to be together. And then, at the end it shows that their band won. So I just love this, so that's why this is part of our list.
Okay, cool. Next, we're gonna move down to number eight. Now, number eight is really one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Coming to America. And I hate to keep blocking my lovely wife's face, but the glare is much worse on my side of the camera. But yes, Coming to America, one of my all-time favorite movies. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall,
Yes.
and the list goes. They both play about 100 characters each. Love them doing all the voices, and it's crazy funny. But on top of that, there is a romance into it. It is really a rom-com. There is definitely some romance in this movie.
Yes.
He's Eddie Murphy, of course, is the Prince of Zamunda, and he is he's about to take part in an arranged marriage. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to actually meet a woman who he falls in love with, not just someone who he's supposed to marry because his parents have arranged it for him. So he comes to America, decides to try to find that woman, and he finds her. But of course, her name's Lisa. Things don't all go as planned. I must have watched Coming to America at least 1,000 times. I don't know about the
Yeah.
first. Yeah, I don't know about the first
Yeah.
time you saw it. First time I saw it was when it came out. I went to the theaters and saw that with me and my best friend. We went to that, and I guess it came out in '87, I think. So I guess I was like 16 years old. And at 16, the funniest thing to me was right at the beginning. The royal penis is
Oh,
clean.
yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
always my thing. But you get older, you get more mature. So yeah, that's still funny. That's still hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But the story is really what keeps you there. So you got anything to say about Coming to America?
Um, I'm with him. Coming to America was a wonderful movie, and just the comedians, just all the different kind of comedians in it, and the laughter. It was wonderful to watch. So, and the love story, yes, it was wonderful in it, and I liked the way it ended out the end two together. So.
All right. And we actually we were gonna have it a little bit. We were gonna have it higher up in the list, and because like I said, it is one of my favorite movies of all time. She's a big fan of it, but we thought the romance was just not quite as strong as some of the other movies.
Right.
So let's move on to one where it's a little bit stronger. That's number 7. And that movie is not as popular as Coming to America, but it is definitely a classic in our household, and that is The Wood. The Wood stars Omar Epps and Taye Diggs and Richard T. Jones, and Sanaa Lathan is in there, and there's a lot of people in there. And Taye Diggs plays a guy who is he's about to get married, so we meet him on his wedding day, and he turns up. Nobody can find him. Actually, he doesn't turn up. Nobody can find him. And when they finally do, they send his best man and one of his other best friend. They go looking for him, and they find him, and he's been drinking all night and decides he doesn't want to get married. So the movie is basically trying to get him back to the altar. That's one half of the movie. The other half of the movie is Omar Epps' character. He's always had a thing for the one that got away, a girl that he was with in high school, and she, of course, is coming to the wedding. And that's really it in a nutshell. So for The Wood, how about The Wood? What gets it up there for you?
I agree with everything you just said. I like The Wood. Just how they came to the point of just doing their best trying to get him back to this altar, and him trying to figure out, is this really what he wants? And then of course he finds out it is. He really loves this lady and his future wife. So yeah.
All right. So The Wood takes us actually to number 6. Number 6 is a movie I don't have. I got a whole stack of movies here, guys, but that one I don't have. For some reason, I thought I did. I don't. But it is, I'll put a picture up probably right between both of our lovely faces. That is The Last Holiday, stars Queen Latifah. And she plays a woman who is, she's been working in a department store her whole life. She's been saving up some money and then she finds out she's terminally ill. I think she's got some kind of cancer or some kind of rare disease. It's not cancer, but she is terminally ill. Her doctor gives her like a year to live or something. So she decides to take all this money and go on the exotic vacation of a lifetime. She in some exotic country. She goes over there, and she becomes a hit. Of course, though, back home, the man that's been pining for her for all these years is looking for her, and that is played by none other than LL Cool J. So I don't know if you could tell on the video right now, my wife's face is probably just lit up a little bit. LL Cool J, that's her other guy. You know, I'll forgive her. I'll forgive her, Mr. LL, because I'm a big LL fan too. But he plays the guy. He's kind of he's been pining for Queen Latifah's character for years and years, and he's working up the courage to get to talk to her and tell her how he feels. But of course, she's in another country, and you know, romantic stuff happens after that. So what about The Last Holiday?
Oh yeah, this was my this was my movie. I love this movie, and like I said, yes, I love me some LL. And I also like Queen Latifah. I love them both together in this movie, and just the things of her finding, like he said, found out that she possibly could have this rare disease, and she decided, well, you know what, if I'm going to not live, I'm just going ahead and enjoy my life. And she does, and it came out, and it was a wonderful movie. And of course it shows at the end that they end up together. He comes looking for her, and he finds her. So yes, I love this movie.
All right, so I won't even call that a spoiler because these all romantic movies. They all wind up together, right?
Yes.
They always do. They always do. So let's go ahead and go down to number 5. Number 5 is a little bit of a different kind of romance because a lot of times it's a movie like we just talked about with The Last Holiday, and it's got all these big things going on. This movie's kind of it's more down to earth, and it even qualifies almost as a hood movie, and that is Poetic Justice. And we see Janet Jackson right there on the cover, and Janet Jackson, she plays her character's name is actually Justice, and she's a young lady. She's got a boyfriend, and he gets killed right at the beginning of the movie. Boyfriend played by Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest. Shout out to Q-Tip. And he gets killed right at the beginning of the movie. So she's gone into depression and been lonely for a while. And finally, one of her best friend played by Regina King, decides to snatch her up and go on a road trip to say, hey, we're going on this road trip because I'm going with my boyfriend. Her boyfriend drives a mail truck, and he's been sent to take the mail truck to deliver some stuff in another city. I think they're in LA, and I think it's in Oakland. They had to drive up to Oakland. So he also has a best friend that he recruits to go with him because he knows his girlfriend is bringing another woman. So he's trying to get his friend to hook up, and that friend, of course, is played by none other than Tupac Shakur. Tupac is this is the performance that I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for. People always talk about, you know, what he did in Juice, and he's great in Juice. He's amazing in Juice, and if you're more of a movie buff, you talk about some of the movies he did even after that, like Gridlocked and Above the Rim also, of course. But this one for me is also a great performance. He plays a guy named Lucky, and him and Janet's character don't hit it off. So we get a lot of this going on for the whole ride. And John Singleton directed it. He did Boys in the Hood. This was his follow-up, and a lot of people at the time didn't really like it like that, and they kind of gave Janet a lot of crap for her performance, which I thought was pretty good. I personally thought it was pretty good.
I did.
Yeah, I always thought it was good. Regina King is always a boss. She's always kills it, and Tupac kills it, of course. Yeah. So and it is a romance. So Tupac and Janet, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the romance in this, and especially when Tupac Lucky brings his daughter to the salon so she can get her hair done, and that's how that romance starts.
Yeah, I forgot to even mention that he had a daughter. He had a daughter.
Yeah. So after that, everything just started flowing and coming together. Especially towards, like we said, towards the end, they ended up together, and it was nice. So yes. And
I'm gonna be honest. For me, it's always the humor with me. It's the comedy. That movie is pretty funny.
If you think about it.
It's not a comedy. It's not billed as a comedy, but especially the beginning parts of the movie. when guys coming in the salon trying to get with Janet Jackson
Yes.
and things like that. Lots of things that happen in the salon.
Right.
So that movie's pretty funny to me. I always like that. All right, let's go ahead down to number 4. Number 4 is a movie that is not a hood movie, but definitely a love letter to hip hop, but it's also a
Right.
romance, and that is Brown Sugar. And we get another Taye Diggs, Sanaa Lathan sighting. So they turn up on a lot of these movies, guys.
Right.
What can I say? We've seen a lot of Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan movies, and this one, Taye Diggs is he's a A&R. He's a music exec for a rap. He's representing a rap group that's pretty popular, but things aren't going quite the way he wants them to. He's falling out of love with the music, and his childhood friend is played by Sanaa Lathan, and she's a writer for a magazine, for a hip hop magazine, and she's kind of giving him crap about the direction his career is going. On top of that, Taye Diggs was engaged to be married. His character's engaged to be married, and well, you know how those things go in the movies. They've been together. Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan characters, they've known each other since they were little kids, and there's a flame there, there's a spark there, so something has to happen after that.
Yes.
So go ahead on Brown Sugar.
Like he said, yes, Brown Sugar. I like to, even though, like you said, it was a love for hip hop, and he did lose his way, and she takes him to the park just to see the dancing in the park, or break dancing, and yes. So, which brings him back to his remembrance about them as a child, as them both being together, seeing back in the day as a child about the hip hop. So,
all right. Somebody's been doing a little homework, because we haven't watched that one in a little while, and I completely forgot that detail.
Yes.
So yeah, when we were talking over the last couple of days, she's been like, man, I'm gonna go watch some trailers at least. So she watched a few trailers, guys, and just jogged the memory a bit. But yeah, we've seen Brown Sugar quite a bit of times. Another one that we've seen a lot, probably more than, I know we've seen it more than Brown Sugar and more than a lot of these on the list, and that's our number 3, and that is The Best Man. I'm trying to, again, these white covers, guys, in this light right there. There it is, The White Land, and guess who? Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan in the movie again.
mm-hmm.
We need more black folks showing up in rom-coms, guys. I can't even lie to you. So in this one, Taye Diggs he's a writer this time, not Sanaa Lathan. She's actually a minor role, but she's an important role, but a minor one. He's a writer. He just wrote this book, and it came out in '99. So Oprah Winfrey's book club was a big thing back then. So his book is going to be on Oprah Winfrey's book club, and he's going to do all these interviews. But his group of friends, and the book is based on his group of friends. Basically, it's a novel, but all the characters are kind of based on his friends. Well, his group of friends have all got a copy of this book. They've all read the book, and there's a lot of controversy in it because they don't always like how they're portrayed. That's how that kind of goes. The main thing that he's worried about, though, is that there's an athlete in the book, and one of his best friend actually is a big-time football player, big-time athlete, and he's about to get married. That's hence the name of the movie, The Best Man. So Taye Diggs' character is worried about what Morris Chestnut, who plays a football player, what Morris Chestnut is going to find in this book if he reads it, because so far it looks like everybody else has read the book except for Morris Chestnut's character, and he's kind of worried about what's going to happen. All-star cast, we got, like I said, Taye Diggs, Sanaa Lathan, Morris Chestnut, Terrence Howard. Ooh,
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys, I was drawing a complete blank on Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard is the man, and of course, she's got Ella. I got Nia Long, so Nia Long shows up in this movie. So The Best Man, we did go to see it. We did go see this in the theater way back when, and I think we both came out pretty happy with this one. What do you say about Best Man?
This definitely was the movie we both, like you said, we both enjoyed this movie. With the love story with Morris Chestnut and the young lady that he's about to marry. And then he finds out certain things don't go too well for Taye Diggs in this one. And then, Morris Chestnut, ends up canceling the wedding, but they're trying to make sure it doesn't. They're trying to put it back so they can go ahead and get married. And he tries his best to apologize and everything. And I just like the way, and a lot of comedy, of course, a lot of comedy. And it was a fun movie, and I enjoyed it very deeply. And like I said, the love story at the end, they did eventually have the wedding, and they got married, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Then some other connections, of course, end up coming together in this movie. Well, we can't tell you because it will lead to the next movie, but that was it.
They did a sequel about 14, 15 years later called
Yeah.
Best Man Holiday. We talked about that movie. We
We
talked
did.
about putting it on there, and we didn't. And slight spoiler alert, not that it's a bad movie because it's a really good movie. We
Yeah.
both really enjoyed the movie, especially for different reasons, probably. But we both enjoyed the new edition scene.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Where
It
they
was
did,
good.
where they
Yeah.
did they do? No, they did Can You Stand the Rain.
Yeah.
They did Can You Stand the Rain. Morris Chestnut, Terrence Howard, they all dressed up like New Edition and,
Yeah.
did that. So we enjoyed that probably for different reasons.
Right.
But that's cool. And reason we didn't put that movie on there because it's a little bit of a sad one. That's a sad one.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. So check out both Best Man and the Best Man Holiday. All right, that takes us to number 2. Number 2 is a movie that I wanted to see more than her, where she had Drumline, where she kind of dragged me kicking and screaming in Drumline. This movie, I didn't have to drag her kicking and screaming, but I was like, look, I gotta see this movie. I really gotta see this movie. Of course, it stars Nia Long, but that wasn't really the reason. The real reason was this was about a writer, and I've been writing for forever, for as long as I can remember. So, and I really wanted to see this movie about this writer. And that writer's played by Lorenz Tate. He's a poet. I did a lot of poetry, especially back in the day, not as much recently. But we meet him, and to be honest, he's kind of an arrogant guy. But he meets Nia Long's character, and they start to fall in love, and they start this whirlwind love affair. And that movie is Love Jones. For all my friends out there that's Criterion Collection fans, they recently put that on the Criterion Collection, so definitely go out and get the Love Jones movie. And for me, it was a lot of ups and downs to this relationship, a lot of back and forth, and
Yeah, it was.
and for other people, for you guys, if you haven't seen this movie, let me put it this way: it came out in either late '90s. I forget.
around that time.
I'm gonna go ahead and look, guys. 1997. It came out in '97.
So yeah.
So even though it came out in the 90s, it is really has a lot in common with a lot of old school romances from even further back than the 90s. I mean, if you think about the old romance movies from decades before that, it has a lot in common with that, but it's got a updated urban sheen to it. So I really like that. And of course, there is the talk about the writing, and there's a lot of interesting conversations that happen in that movie. You have a favorite thing about Love Jones?
Maybe the love scene.
We go right there. We go right to the love scene. All right. I was supposed to say that because it got Nia Long in it.
Well, whatever. So yes, I like the romance in this, and the romance they have between each other. You can feel it and see it within both of them.
All right, cool. All right, the last, our number one, not the last one, because we are going to talk about a couple other movies briefly, but our number one was pretty unanimous, pretty easy. So a lot of these movies, we kind of, we started them up at this number, we moved them down, and then we moved them back up, and we moved some off the list. We did all that good stuff. So, but this one kind of stayed at number one right from the beginning, and that one is Love and Basketball. If you're familiar with me, even on this channel, even though I haven't had this channel that long, but if you ever frequented I had a blog, I still blog sometime, or heard me talk about it on other people's channels. Love and Basketball is a movie that has been with us since the day it hit theaters. We went and see it. We both were excited to see it. Sanaa Lathan again, and this time it's Omar Epps again. So yeah, guys, if anybody out there who happens to see this, who's making movies, there's more than like 10 black actors. Let's find some more people. But I love Sanaa Lathan. I love Omar Epps, and Love and Basketball. We pretty much watched them from the time they were like 10, 12 years old and when she moves into his neighborhood and she loves basketball as much as he does, and they grow up together, and we see all the things they go through, and all of them growing apart and growing back together, and breaking up and making up, and we watch all those things. So it's a movie that's pretty. I wouldn't really call a movie important to our relationship, but if one was important to our relationship, this would be the one, because it's kind of been with us all the time, and it's one where we can say, hey, you know what? Let's watch Love and Basketball, and we'll do that.
Yeah, we would.
we would. Anything else to add on that one?
Yeah, just like I said, this was ours favorite movie, and just a love story of them being friends since little kids, and then growing up with each other. And you could tell she's starting to have real feelings for him, and he's having all these young girls just fawning over him and loving him, and then both of them go to college, and she's doing wonderful things in college, and he is too. And then of course he gets hurt, and then eventually he starts to get married. I think he does get married.
Well, he's about to get
married.
He's engaged to Tyra Banks' character. Tyra Banks is in the movie.
Right, that's right. And then the show, show that is this really the one he wants. She decides to have a one-on-one game with him for his love. So, of course, we saw at the end what happens.
Guys,
so,
it sounds corny when you say it out loud,
right.
But when you watch the movie,
but
it works.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it works.
It works.
It really does.
I love it. I love the way it came together. So
yeah. So that's our list. I do have a couple of honorable mentions or movies that we kind of went back and forth on a little bit, that we thought we wanted in, and for one reason or another we kicked them out. And I really could have did 10 more movies, but I got just 3 here. Well, 4 technically, but the first one, the one I really wanted to talk about most out of this group was this one right here, Forrest Gump, the Tom Hanks classic. It is one of my favorite movies. I know it's kind of popular. I don't know if you knew this, but online right now, there's a lot of hate for Forrest Gump happening.
Yeah, I think you did tell me that.
So a lot of people, talking about how corny it is, or they got other problems with it. And that's okay, but when I watch the movie, it's one of my favorite movies. But I couldn't put it on this list. I couldn't personally. Now, for me, it was the relationship between Forrest and Jenny. And if you haven't seen Forrest Gump, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Go see Forrest Gump. But but the relationship between Forrest and Jenny felt so lopsided, so one-sided. It was him, and I know you can say, well, she really did love him, and even my wife, she kind of brought it. She kind of loved him, but so for me, like I said, we started up with this kind of high, and then I just kind of was like, I can't do it.
Yeah, we couldn't do it.
Can't do it. Couldn't do it for us. I love the movie, but Jenny, thumbs down, Jenny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it, Jenny. All right, another one that I'm gonna skip over this, so I'll come back to that one. But we talk about, it's 2 movies actually. We got the Nutty Professor 1 and 2. So this one, of course, Eddie Murphy plays the Nutty Professor, Sherman Klump, and is basically Eddie in a fat suit. And of course, Eddie being Eddie, especially during his heyday, he plays every character on this box right here. But the big deal is that, just like the old Jerry Lewis movies, almost a Jerry Lee Lewis, that's another guy. But the old Jerry Lewis movie, he comes up with this formula to make him thin. In this case, thin, skinny, handsome, attractive, and all that stuff. And there's also another professor. In the first movie, there's another professor at the school that's played by Jada Pinkett. And they go through this whole love story. They fall in love, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, the Buddy Love is the thin version. So it's really Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Buddy Love is kind of a nutcase. And then in the second movie, we kind of have the same setup a little bit, except this time he's not in love with Jada Pinkett. She's no longer in the picture. We have Janet Jackson. I forget where her job was.
Yeah.
I don't remember if she worked for the school. Did she work for the school?
I think she did.
Yeah, she did.
I don't
His,
know.
we haven't watched it in a little
Little
while.
while, yeah.
But yeah, but we definitely know it's Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
We both like the movie. Any reason why?
Oh yeah, definitely love
Yeah,
it.
we love the
The
movies.
characters were hilarious.
Yes, they were. Characters were hilarious. Any reason you wanted to take you didn't think it quite measured up. This one was kind of yours, where you kind of knocked it down a little bit.
I don't know. Maybe I just didn't see the real romance like I really wanted. That we was really trying to put in there and wanted to choose our movies. So I think I just didn't really. Even though I saw them wanting to be with each other and love each other, I think I just didn't see a romance.
Okay. That works. All right, and the last one we're going to talk about is another one. This one was my fault that it's not on here also. And this one, even though it's another movie I really love, and probably my favorite, or definitely my favorite singer of all time, and that is Purple Rain starring Prince. So for me, well, let's go through the story real quick. So for the story, Prince basically plays Prince, even though he's called the kid in the movie. And he's got this band, and they're playing every night at this club, but they're struggling, not as popular as they were. And of course, Apollonia comes strutting in one night, and she's trying to be famous, and they hook up, and then there's Morris Day and the Time, and they have beef with them, and they're trying to get with Apollonia to make her a star, so on and so forth. So for you, I'll let you start. How you said you wanted it on the list. You started by putting it high.
I didn't say that. Kind of.
Okay.
Because like we said before, we both, well, even though we thought about having on it, I think still it wasn't really a romance. I think we were more because of the situations he was going through with his family.
Right.
So we didn't really see the romance even though he had that romance between him and Apollonia. So, but I mean, people could probably see that differently. But
Okay.
So,
for me, what that meant for me is basically I always viewed Purple Rain a little bit, or as I've gotten older, I viewed it a little differently, because I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but me and my brother went to see this movie when it first came out. It was like the first weekend it came out, and the theater was so packed we had to sit in like the second, third row. We watched the whole movie basically like that. But anyway, back then it was just a cool movie. It was just the coolest thing ever. Still a cool movie, but as I've gotten older, you look at things and you've lived life. So for me, it kind of looks like now, like Prince is, his character anyway, is in the middle of a cycle of abuse where he abuses Apollonia. You apologize, so there's a honeymoon period, then there's more abuse, and it looks like the movie kind of ends in that honeymoon period, not really like problems are really solved. So that's what knocks it down for me. Even though again, it's a movie I do love. I've watched it a lot of times, and I'll probably watch it some more. I'll definitely watch it some more time. That's why I own it. So, but that's it. That's really all we wanted to talk about, guys. Thanks again to my lovely and talented wife Yolanda for coming to join us. Maybe if y'all play nice, you'll come back and visit us some more. In the meantime, I just want to say like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what some of your favorite romantic movies are. What do you think about the ones that we picked? Anything that we need to see, because we haven't seen them all. And there's a lot of other movies that we talked about before we finalized the list. So just do that for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. We'll catch you on the next one. Yolanda, you want to wave goodbye to the people? We'll say bye. Catch you on the next one, guys. Bye.